There we go.
Alright, yo. What's
Yo,
up? Man, that mask is sick as hell,
uh,
bro.
thank you.
Yeah, I just got like a little mask from Deadshot a bit
Hmm.
ago. If you know him.
I think so.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I think so.
he's pretty cool. Anyways, let's start with the questions. How old
Sweet.
are you?
I am 18.
Do you
Just turned
think
18.
um do you think it matches with, like, your maturity, like your music?
Uh, yeah. I mean, like throughout my whole childhood, right? Um, I got sort of suppressed in a way in a lot of stuff in my life, and so a lot of people call my music, emo, edgy, whatever, But I think at the end of the day, it's just kind of a revolution, kind of as I'm turning 18, becoming an adult, kind of like a rebellion against it. So yeah, I think my music and my sound definitely reflects kind of my maturity right now. Yeah.
Yeah, how does it feel knowing that like so many people like listen to your stuff?
I mean, yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. Like I just do this shit for fun for the most part, and I mean through this, I've met so many like crazy people and people in real life, people online, like just everyone all around, and I'm just eternally grateful that people just fuck with my shit and that I'm able to just make stuff with people like this.
Yeah, have you received any fan art ever?
Fan art, yeah, I mean, a couple times, yeah, I've got some art from a few smaller artists. I know there's a couple people out there that want to do stuff for me, and but other than that, I'm really good. I really like commissioning artists to do artwork for me. Um and I do a lot of artwork myself, so I just like to get a variety of styles, and yeah.
Yeah, do you have like a day job or anything?
Day job, I mean, right now I'm still in school, but I am working like two other jobs, and then doing production work for a lot of people, commission production work and stuff within graveyard, stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, so do you have any like other hobbies other than music?
Other hobbies, I mean, my dream is to become like a screenwriter and a director and do film stuff. And so I do like a lot of reading and writing and working on a novel right now and stuff like that. And then other than that, just gym rat, just love to hang out with my friends and do shit.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna check if it's recording. I always like triple check.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because I had this one interview with like Zero X Thrash.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed him for like 3 hours and it just didn't record. Yeah, so now I always have
That
anxiety
sucks.
about that shit. Um, so, like, who's your biggest inspiration for music?
I mean, my biggest inspiration sound-wise probably has to be either Craig Scissorhands or Spooky, just sound-wise, in terms of structuring and in terms of the themes and stuff I try to get across. I'm a huge fan of Kim Dracula and the way that their first album, how it all kind of pieces together, a lot of different genres, and just kind of melding that together, and then fusing that with the louder scream rap, sort of trap stuff that some other people in the horrorcore-esque scene are doing.
Yeah, what's the best advice you think you could give to someone like up and coming?
Best advice would be honestly just to go out and fucking meet people. I mean, there's only so much. There are great people I've met online, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much you can do with people online, and there's only so much that you can take. I mean, there's so many weirdos online and stuff like that, and just going out there and meeting your local scene, even if you don't think there is one, there are people out there
Yeah,
that
there
like
definitely
music
is.
adjacent. Yeah, there are people out there. that like music adjacent. It might not be exactly what you make, right? But there are people out there, and there are other bands. There's music everywhere, and that's just been honestly one of my biggest sources of inspiration lately. Is just going to local shows, meeting people from different genres and from adjacent genres and stuff, and just kind of being a big sponge for musical influence in my real life.
Yeah. What do you want people? So when people think of the name SkullDog, what do you like want them to think? Like the first thing, what do you want them to think about when someone mentions your name?
What I want what I want them to think about is um, not just loud and screamy for the sake of being loud and screamy, but I really hope that I can kind of spread a bit of a message and help connect with some of the emotion that I put into my work, help connect with other people feeling those same emotions.
Yeah. So do you want to like what's the most memorable fan interaction you've had?
Most memorable fan interaction? I'd have to say probably at like one of my live shows. I mean, there's just a bunch of people, but I've had, a few people come up after my sets or whatever and say that out of all of the talent that's there and all of the artists that are much bigger than me, that I was their favorite set. And just stuff like that, just people that DM me. Like, if you're a fan, do not be afraid. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Telegram, whatever. Just feel free to reach out to me and talk to me. I'm always down to talk to people, just because if you spend your time listening to my stuff and, you know, like my stuff enough to try and like contact me, then absolutely, I'm 100% down to talk to you about whatever.
Yeah, what do you spend like most of your time doing day to day?
Most of my time day to day, I mean, the cycle is too much responsibilities. That's the worst part. And then after that, it's literally just go to the gym, listen to loud music at the gym, get inspired by loud music, go home, make more loud music to go to listen to at the gym. It's just like an eternal cycle. Other than that,
So,
yeah.
when did you first realize that you wanted to like start doing music?
I mean, I first kind of realized I haven't really been doing this for that long. I made a few like really weird like projects on LMMS, if anyone knows what that old DAW is. Really just like weird stuff. I as a kid I was experimenting with that stuff, and then just kind of recently. I mean, I haven't even been producing for myself for a year yet, and I haven't been making. I just was like 1 year of making music in December, as SkullDog and doing the full thing. And what really kind of inspired me to start it, I was just listening to all these artists I love and just listening to the same stuff over and over again, picking it apart in my head, and I'm like, I can do that. Like it just comes down to having that drive and a little bit of that ego to just say, yeah, I can do that, and then just working at it over time.
Yeah. Speaking of ego, what do you think is like the? I hear a lot of people complaining on underground that there's a lot of ego in people. What do you think is like the right amount of ego that you should have?
Yeah, the right amount of ego. The right amount of ego is you should have enough ego to respect your own work and the time that you put into it, but also kind of give that back to people, you know? Even if you don't like that sound, unless the person is like, a complete weirdo, I'm always down to like, listen to people's stuff, even if it's not for me, I'm always down to listen to it and to respect, even if you think, this doesn't sound like they put that much effort into it. They might have, and it might have taken them just that long to get to that point. And so having an ego to where you're like confident in your own work and confident in your own sound and what you think sounds good, yes, that is good. But having an ego to the point where you start tearing others down and not, respecting that effort, even if it doesn't appeal to you, that's kind of you know.
Yeah. So, what do you think you're the most proud of, like music wise?
Most proud of music wise is definitely what I just had in March, where I was releasing weekly, and 4 out of 5 of the songs were self-produced, everything self-mixed, mastered. And I think just being able just to prove it to myself that I could be consistent with both, releases and quality, and I think all of that stuff. Each song there is could be considered my best work in its own right, but we're just getting started. I mean, I got the album coming up, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it's definitely my best work so far.
Yeah. So, what do you think fuels like the anger and loudness behind your music?
What fuels the anchor and loudness? I mean, on a more personal note, kind of grew up in sort of a religious upbringing, sort of stuff like that. And I mean, it was just consistent being told that you're wrong for who you are, and that you're never gonna fit in, and just stuff like that. That all sort of culminated around, and just that general sort of feeling, and um, yeah, it's just kind of this sort of level that you're put on where you're kind of restricted. And so I think trying to break free of those boundaries, and then at the same time, I mean, I said earlier that I want my music to not just be loud, but to mean something to people. And so I put in any of my personal struggles. I put into tracks, and I put in my anger at kind of the state of the world and the state of the communities and that I'm in and stuff like that. I put all of that infused in there as well. And then sometimes I'll just have fun with it, But for the most part, most of my stuff is fueled from this kind of repression that I've felt for a long time that I sort of broke free from, and now I'm taking all sorts of experiences from my life and kind of media I like and stuff like that, and sort of pooling it all together.
Yeah. What's the story behind the mask?
The Mask. Walking through the thrift store, walking through Value Village. It's Halloween time. They got like a bunch of like abandoned Halloween stuff, and I just saw the mask, took it, put some blood on it, put the little black stuff in it, and then I kind of built this story that kind of goes along with the mask itself being abandoned. That the lore of the character is that it was a kind of abused dog that was unjustly sent to hell. Killed, sent to hell unjustly, and now comes back with a vengeance. And so that kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier with my sort of inspirations on stuff like that. But also on another level, it kind of ties back to the mask itself being abandoned at the thrift store, and now a new sort of hand picks it up and uses it to create art.
Nice. So, what's the favorite song that you've made?
Favorite song that I've made, probably my birthday song, 18 Years Undead. I'm just incredibly proud of both the production and my vocal mixing and the flow I have in that song. I just think that, and it's number one on SoundCloud right now, so I'm very proud of that people will recognize that. I think that's definitely my best song.
Yeah. So, how long have you been making music?
Uh, I mean, experimenting for a long time, but I never really thought of myself as a musician or someone that could make music right up until December of 2023. Yeah, 2023. December. That's when I started recording my first kind of 4 tracks there, the black and white covers. That was all recorded on my webcam microphone, just on other people's beats. And then as I went on, I was just like, I didn't feel that sort of deep sense of connection as much by recording on other people's beats. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my time and kind of self-produce stuff and kind of learn how to do that. And now I'm like almost fully self-produced unless I want to work with another producer. Um, and I think that in it of itself is when I would consider myself as actually making music full time, when I actually started caring about it. About April last year-ish would probably be when I like fully clicked with yes, making music.
So, how long do you want to keep making music?
Um, I don't know. I never really planned for this thing, whatever I had going on with SkullDog, to be so much of my life, but it is now, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Um, but I think I did do kind of a smart move on my part when I started the project because I released, a crap metal song and then into a scenecore song, into a shoegaze song, into like a more necrotrap torturecore song. And so by allowing myself that broadness of genre, I'm gonna keep doing the screamy shit for right now. Like I'm quite enjoying that right now, but I think I've given myself enough broad coverage in terms of my discography that um, SkullDog will probably remain around for another, who knows? But the genre that I make will probably switch up just depending upon what I'm interested in at the time. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna keep making music, and as long as people keep supporting me and I'm still enjoying it, then it's just gonna keep going.
Do you do any like other art than music?
Any other art? Yes, I do writing. I have several kind of unfinished scripts and also an unfinished novel. I also do a lot of digital art and stuff like that. I draw. There's a good chunk of my covers that I've drawn, and then also a lot of Photoshop editing that I've been getting into and stuff. Just doing sort of this weird, twisted sort of editing and stuff like that. And so yeah, I love all aspects of art and I love, you know, just exploring everything there is out there.
Yeah, I've been getting into Photoshop a bit. If you saw like my
Yeah.
poster series,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was unfortunately I quit it because I could not keep up with that. But it's fun. It's really fun.
Mhm.
Photoshop, just being able to like create something out of nothing, or just a
Yeah,
few
exactly.
photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what music do you listen to? Like, just you said loud stuff, but like, who specifically?
Yeah. Again, my inspirations are who I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot of Craig, a lot of Spooky, a lot of King Dracula. But I've also been getting into a lot of hyperpop and grindcore. So two completely opposite sides of the spectrum. Getting into a lot of Blave, Jane Remover, a lot of that stuff, and then also a lot of like mayhem and stuff like that. A lot of heavier grindcore, hardcore, like that.
What's your favorite song, like just in general, that like you haven't made?
Uh, Favorite song in general? Ooh, that's a tough question. I'd probably have to say. Oh, Um, probably have to say Superhero by King Dracula. I know it's going back on the same thing again and again, but um, I don't know. There's so many switch ups in that whole song, and I just love the choreography and the music video specifically for that song. Um, I'd really recommend people to check that out, and that sort of storytelling within it. I'm really drawn to that, and so yeah.
What's a favorite lyric that you've written?
Favorite lyric? Ooh, I'd probably have to say, oh, that's what it'd be. My favorite, my favorite lyric, just completely on a comedic level, is in Straight Jacket. It's one of my songs on the DNI EP, and it's Yo bitch give me skull. That's why they call me the dog, because there's like multiple levels to it. There's like skull dog, and then there's like skull giving head, and then there's like the dog. It's just I came with that lyric and I'm like, that is so fucking stupid. I'm using it. It just
Yeah.
like popped in my head and I was like, yeah.
Um, how long do you think it takes like to make music?
Make music. I mean, depends on a lot of factors. Most stuff though, like self-produced stuff, take anywhere from probably 10 to 12 hours broken up over a lot of stuff. Just because I really take pride in not only producing things well, but all the little vocal glitches and all the beat cuts and re-recording and mixing it and tweaking it. Yeah, it probably 10 to 12 hours per song.
Uh, do you have any history with like music groups or collective? Like obviously you're in Graveyard right now, but any
Mhm.
other?
Used to be in guerrilla warfare. That was a group led by Mateo. Um, great group of people kind of outgrew them, outgrew that sound, and so moved on out of that. Then for a while, me and my friend Sixi, we both kind of co-hosted one called Park Drive Murder. I don't know, I wasn't really that enthused with the project, and the project really never went anywhere, so we sort of disbanded it. And then now I'm with Graveyard, of course, and yeah, Graver, we've clicked pretty well, and I think we're on the same level in terms of what we want to make. And then I'm hoping sometime in the near future, I have a few IRL friends that we're hoping to make sort of a ambient shoegaze type group thing that's not necessarily a band, but it's also like just a group of friends making music in real life. And so I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So what genre would you define your music as?
Uh, my music, I think specifically, kind of me and Killbat are trying to revive the genre of torturecore. That the Torture Porn Collective kind of started off. 717 NA, Spooky, Neverglad, and Misery was there for a little bit. But they sort of started off the torturecore genre. I think it was intended for kind of a branding for them, but I think now it's kind of separated a lot more from stuff like the new age horrorcore stuff that like Craig and Reyna are doing. That's a lot more sometimes dubstep influenced, a lot more heavier sort of beats, and the necro trap stuff that Necro Society is doing with the sort of more gargly 808, stuff like that. I think torturecore we've kind of defined separately as a lot more fast-paced beats with a lot of vocal glitches, high-pitched vocals. That's kind of the key thing, and so I think that's kind of the wave we're riding along. We're still obviously within that sphere of that sect of trap metal that's kind of broken off into the darker, more horror stuff. But I think we've kind of defined ourselves by that torture core, higher vocal glitched sound.
Do you like draw any inspiration from other artists or?
Yeah, I mean, every artist I come into contact with, eh, anyone that I talk to, no matter how big they are, or if I see them in real life, or whatever, if I like the music, I get certain parts stuck in my head, and then I go on here and I'm like, how can I change that to make that uniquely my own, and so just any song, any artist that really kind of catches my attention, and kind of sticks in the back of my head, I just kind of pull out from.
Okay. Who do you think is like the next up and coming artist in like in like your scene?
Next up and coming artists. Um, I mean, I've been talking with Tezcalep. He's a local friend who's making stuff in this genre, which is really hard to find. I mean, I know trap metal people, but finding someone who's typically more in this sound, I think he's got quite a bit going for him. I hope that all of us here in Graveyard are up and coming. I think people like Bronk and Oxy and Bloodshed. I think a lot of them, they've really been they've been going for a long time, a lot longer than me, and I think they've really been putting in the effort. And so I really hope they can really elevate and kind of get a bigger following. But yeah.
Yeah. Now I just have one final question. Like, how do you find me? Because I know you followed me first, and that was like, thanks, by the way.
I think I just found you through like Brock reposting the poster that you made for him. and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and just you being active in the community. Yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah.
All
Fuck
right.
with what you're doing.
And what's the backstory behind the sign in the background?
Which side? That sign, the sex room sign.
Yes.
I found that in fucking like gift shop in Ontario by Niagara Falls. I like walked past. I was like walking like this with my mom, and I just see out of the corner of my eye sex room, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And like I did like a 360 like double take, and I was like, I need to go get that like right now, and so I did, and it was on sale. It's been sitting there for 2 years, so it's on sale.
All
I
right.
wonder why.
You have any questions for me?
Uh, no, not really. Just really fuck with what you're doing. Fuck with any sort of people trying to get involved in the scene, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. Well, all right. That's it. I'm going to. Okay, see ya.